Hello, you are watching News 9 Digital's Facebook Live with me, Amrita, and today we will be discussing about the Oxford University and AstraZeneca's COVID-19 vaccine candidate and the trouble it has recently run into. So, as per media reports, the clinical trials of this particular COVID-19 vaccine candidate has stopped, briefly halted in several countries, including the United Kingdom. Right here in India also served the Serum Institute of India a show cause notice asking why in India they had not stopped the clinical trials based on the reports coming in from UK and elsewhere. So why did these clinical trials halt briefly? So just recently it has come to the public forum that one of the volunteers from UK in one of the phases of the clinical trials showed adverse reaction. It is not yet clear about what has caused this reaction. Was it the vaccine itself or was it due to any other situation? It remains unknown. But according to media reports, especially Stat News and the New York Times, it is alleged that the volunteer in the United Kingdom suffered from a neurological problem called transverse myelitis. So what is this particular neurological condition? We also have on the phone line with us Dr. Parmesh. Dr. Parmesh, thank you for joining us on this live.
Thank you, Amrita. Yes.
So first of all, we would like to know what is transverse myelitis and whether it can be caused due to a vaccine.
Yeah, transverse myelitis is all our nerves and nerve roots are covered with a sheath of fat. That is called myelinating sheath. That sheath gets inflamed either from various infections of the viruses or immune disorders. So that leading to the nerve endings where it is covered, that functions will be decreased. The nerve functions of that, the muscles and whatever it is decreased. You can also get paralysis, you get a severe pain and spasm of the muscle, and later on it leads to paralysis. It is a serious condition as a matter of fact.
Yes.
The question is it the disease he is developing or the vaccine is the question? Earlier we had this kind of problem with the measles vaccine.
Okay.
Measles diseases produces demyelinating disease called SSPE. Okay. That SSPE, it happens a few months to many years of the disease. But when they given the vaccine, some people who didn't have a clinical diagnosed vaccine, this issue was raised. Maybe it is some vaccine producing this demyelinating disease, but they are not able to prove it completely. Some people say maybe some of these children had subclinical measles. It developed later on. So anyway, we are not too sure, but there is small risk is there. Risk is not that much from the vaccine as a matter of fact. If we use the less potent vaccines, germs are living, but they're less potent producing the disease. Sometimes it can come, but it's a rare entity as a matter of fact. But still we have to find out whether that is the cause or this person who had this one, he was developing a case, it triggered it. This is a possibility. And also the people, most common we pediatricians see, the adult will see it is Guillain-Barré disease. The most common Guillain-Barré disease. And that comes from the various virus infections also. And usually it takes few months to few years to recover. Occasionally it can become the permanent damage also it can happen. And we are not too sure, but it's a serious problem. But one had to think in the interest of the protecting a lot of people than one or two people, keeping that in mind, larger interest will keep it than branding the other or taking one interest, scaring the people. It may not be the right thing in this situation. Let's find out the research work, find out what might be the cause.
Okay. Also, Dr. Parmesh, there's a lot of criticism on social media and other platforms for AstraZeneca itself because it did not notify the public about what made them stop these clinical trials. There was a lot of criticism saying that they should have gone public, addressed the public, because at the end of the day, this vaccine, when it is approved by a regulatory body, will be given for public use itself. So the public felt that they in fact needed to know about why the clinical trials were stopped in this case, and there was also a similar event, a brief halt in the clinical trials which was reported way back in July as well, wherein according to reports it is said a volunteer again suffered from similar symptoms as this particular volunteer from the United Kingdom. In this view, how important is it, Dr. Parmesh, to for the biotechnology companies as well as all the vaccine makers to be very transparent about the process of vaccine making?
Okay, well, these are all administrative issues. Various things are there. Let us not go in deep in that one. As a doctor, a practicing doctor, I would say, yes, any serious complication has arisen, they have to find out first whether it's from the vaccine or he is developing a disease, it triggered it.
Okay.
That has to be looked into that one. We are not too sure about that one. Whether the public has to know all these things, that's a different issue as a matter of fact. Only the authority should know about it. From that authority, it's come to the public has become. When they stopped in UK, why it is not informed in India for the drug controller authorities? It is an administrative issue. I may not be able to know what is the reason. We don't know. Definitely, they are all aware of it. And now they look into what is the possibility. We look into that one. And I think we should progress further. We cannot just one issue making an issue one after the other, blaming each one. I think in larger interest, we have to work together, find out a cause, what it is. If it is serious, then we should stop it. That's fine, yes.
Okay.
But let us not make the public worry about these things. Then they don't want to get the vaccine.
That's true.
There is one section of the Christian community, they don't want to use any vaccine.
Yes.
That's very
true.
difficult. When I was in practice in the USA, we used to get the court order to give the vaccine. That is a must. Every child has to have a vaccine. I used to get a court order.
Yes.
For this purpose only.
Okay.
They don't want the blood transfusion.
Okay.
Their belief is certain thing. I respect their belief, but in the larger interest, we have to take into this one. Legal issues will come there and all those things. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Parmesh, for speaking to us and sharing your insights. And just recently also, the Serum Institute of India has briefly halted its clinical trials right here in India as well. Furthermore, it is very important for these vaccine developers who have also earlier taken a pledge of maintaining utmost safety and going by the ethical standards as well, in view of mounting political pressure internationally as well, to pledge that their vaccine, which will go for approval in the first place, will follow by all the safety standards. Yes, AstraZeneca's report has come out right now, but there are more details which needs to be out in the public, which has not been shared yet, and it needs to be seen whether the vaccine makers will follow the rules, whether they will give out all of the details that is required for the public to make a necessary decision. But when it comes to the regulatory body right here in India, it is a good news that at least here the regulatory bodies are keeping a very keen eye on the vaccines which are being developed across the world, and also the trials which are underway right here in India. So as it also served a notice to Serum Institute of India questioning why they did not halt the trials momentarily after the reports from UK. You can leave your opinion in the comment section down below. Also like, share and subscribe to News 9 Digital.